Hi, it's Paul Maunder from Production Expert. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Hush Pro. This is an audio suite plugin for Apple Silicon Macs, which uses machine learning to isolate speech from room reflections, ambient noise, and transient sounds. It's designed to provide high-quality results with minimal artifacts. Hush Pro includes two plugins, Hush Mix and Hush Split. Hush Mix provides faders for voice, reverb, and noise, so you can adjust the relative balance of each. Hush Split allows for each of these three components to be separated and rendered onto their own tracks or playlist lanes. We'll get to that shortly. First of all, though, let's hear the Hush Mix component of Hush Pro in action. In this session, I have various pieces of problematic audio, many of which I've used in previous noise reduction demonstrations. Let's just take a listen to part of the first one.
I think the drone would be a very good solution because if you think about transporting...
Okay, so there's clearly a lot of ambient background noise which we need to get rid of. Reverb isn't really a problem in this one, so let's just preview this and pull down the noise component.
I think...
in fact, if you want to hear it in isolation, we can hit the solo button. There's the noise. Okay.
Drugs, vaccine, or other things for healthcare, they all transported by roads.
Good result. Now I'll just render that. And here's the result.
I think the drone would be a very good solution because if you think about transporting...
Great, let's move on to the next one. So this one, as you can see, has a problem with broadband noise. This is an example of some dialogue recorded right next to a fan. So let's try Hush Pro. This is an example of some dialogue recorded right next to a fan. Definitely not the best location to make a recording. Okay, that was really easy. Render that. And I'd say they're right about the minimal artifacts. That was actually a very good result. This one is a little bit different. I'm currently standing in a tiled bathroom. It's a dreadful place to make a recording. And as you heard, the problem with this one is mostly reverb. Let's preview this. I'm currently standing in a tiled bathroom. It's a dreadful place to make a recording. There's the reverb.
However, it's very good for the purposes of this test.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm currently standing in a tiled bathroom. It's a dreadful place to make a recording. Bypass.
However, it's very good for the purposes of this test.
Okay, I'm going to render this. Just see what we have.
I'm currently standing in a tiled bathroom. It's a dreadful place to make a recording.
Again, very impressive result. Next piece of audio.
I like its performance. It's quick and it's comfortable.
Okay, so it's another one with mostly just background noise. Again, preview this.
I like its
In fact, just to show you this,
it's quick,
let's solo just the voice.
I like the autopilot because when the traffic's really congested, you still have to concentrate.
And the noise. And then we'll pull the noise out.
I like the fact that it isn't emitting any carbon dioxide and it isn't costing me anything.
Okay, and then we'll render this and just play a little bit just to check it.
I like its performance. It's quick and it's comfortable.
Great. Next one. Another one labelled noise, so let's see what we have.
I believe absolutely that electric cars are going to be a big thing in the very near future.
That would be a challenge, but let's see how it handles it.
I believe absolutely that electric cars are going to be a big thing in the very near future. I believe absolutely that electric cars are
and if you ever want to bypass the processing, you can do that.
I believe absolutely that electric cars are going to be a big thing in the very near future.
Pretty decent result considering the severity of the background noise. I'll render that one and we'll move on to the next one. This one is also a challenging piece of audio.
I like to think we get to a point...
Okay, let's give it a go.
I like to think we get to a point where we're relying solely on our skill and relying on a certainty that...
Now you can hear with this one, it has pulled out the majority of the noise, but there's still a very high frequency component left.
I like to think we get to
Let's solo the noise.
A point...
Notice how in the noise profile, it doesn't seem to be including that high frequency aspect.
Going to make it, and there is going to be no other variable.
Okay, well, let's render it. And you can see some of that noise is still present.
I like to think we get to a point.
So it maybe struggled a little bit with that one, but it did pull out most of the noise, but it left some parts of it present. Moving on.
I think it's a real mix, and we have certain countries like Norway where...
Okay, preview this.
I think it's a real mix, and we have certain countries like Norway where I think it was last year 22% of all new vehicles were electric. But then there are certainly other countries where that's,
That's a very good result this time round, so let's render that. Next one, now this is actually a stereo piece of audio. This is a stereo recording made in a domestic basement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this one has a couple of things going on. First of all, we have the reverb, but secondly, there is a persistent background noise of some kind of air conditioning unit. Just take a listen once more. This is a stereo recording made in a domestic basement. So if I preview this, we'll solo the reverb, then we'll take a listen to the noise, then we'll just have a go at pulling these down. But also this particular one provides a great opportunity to try hush split. But let's give this a go first. This is a stereo recording made in a domestic basement. There's the reverb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the noise. And then just my voice. 1, 2, 3, so 4, 5. Just do this, and then this would be the result. This is a stereo recording made in a domestic basement. And I could, of course, render that, but just to show you, rather than doing that, let's open up Hush Split, see if we can split this into its 3 component parts. Now, it gives some instructions on how to use it, and in essence, we need to create 3 either playlist lanes or audio tracks for the voice, reverb, and noise aspects to be rendered onto. So this is a stereo piece of audio, so I'm going to create 3 stereo audio tracks, make sure that they contain the cursor, and of course, you can hold down Shift and the colon key on the Mac to move the selection down. Now, let's just click on render. And then we should have 3 parts to this. Here's the voice. This is a stereo recording made in a domestic basement. And the reverb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the final track, just playing it from the top again, we have the noise. Of course, this could be useful for a number of reasons, one of which could be extracting room tone from a recording. Let's take a look at one more example. So we'll go back to Hush Mix.
And a policeman rocks up on his bike and we're like, oh, is this
okay, so there's a lot of
friendly
hiss.
neighborhood sort of Bobby coming along?
Preview it.
And a policeman rocks up on his bike and we're like, oh, is this just your friendly neighborhood sort
Sounds
of Bobby
good, let's
coming along
A-B
to
it.
help us out?
Here it was before.
And it's not. There's been a legitimate noise complaint
And
from
with
someone
the plugin?
complaining about us just being on the street.
Render.
And a policeman rocks up on his bike and we're like, oh, is this...
Okay, so that was using Hush Pro to reduce reverb and noise in dialogue recordings. For more information, head over to hushaudioapp.com. Thanks for watching.